Arcadian Vanguard presents The Wrestling News in your daily wrestling newscast for Thursday, June 13th, 2024. Good morning, I'm Mike Sempervive. We begin today with last night's edition of AEW Dynamite broadcast live on TBS from the Wells Fargo Center in Des Moines, Iowa. In the main event, Will Ospreay retained the international title against Rey Fenix. After the match, Ospreay was confronted by AEW World Champion Swerve Strickland. Strickland was also threatened by the Elite during the show's opening promo segment, but the Acclaimed made the save. Jack Perry defeated Dustin Rhodes in the opening match, which was a qualifier for the ladder match for the vacant TNT Championship at Forbidden Door. Also on the show, Roosh and MJF took part in an extended brawl that went from the ringside area to the back and saw the locker room empty out.
Well, MJF just muscled up Roosh to put it through that table. I think Roosh, the back of his head may have hit that brick wall as the officials doing everything they can. Oh! Now the locker room emptying, trying to keep these men apart. This is unbelievable. How when people despise each other.
In a six-man tag, Roderick Strong, ROH TV champion Kyle Fletcher, and Konosuke Takeshita beat Kyle O'Reilly, Orange Cassidy, and ROH world champion Mark Briscoe when Fletcher pinned Briscoe. Trent Beretta jumped Cassidy after the match, and Willow Nightingale attempted to make the save but was laid out by Chris Statlander. In other results, Mercedes Moné defeated Zeusis, Hook and Samoa Joe beat the Premier Athletes, and Daniel Garcia got a quick win over Nick Comoroto. In ratings news, NXT drew 718,000 viewers to USA Network on Tuesday, according to WrestleNomics. That's down from last week's audience of 768,000. The rating in the 18 to 49-year-old demographic was a .22, which held steady with last week's demo rating. And in more AEW news, the company has hired a former member of the TNA and WWE creative teams, according to Mike Johnson. R.D. Evans was seen working backstage producing segments at Collision last Saturday and was also at Dynamite last night. Evans was with the TNA creative team since 2019, and prior to that had been with WWE since 2016. Evans quit WWE during the 2016 WWE Hall of Fame ceremony after objecting to Vince McMahon's angered response to being mentioned by name during Bret Hart's acceptance speech. And before we leave you today, we'd like to remind you that however you consume your content, you can find the wrestling news 24 hours a day and 7 days a week across social media. On Twitter, follow us at Wrestling News AV. Our Facebook page is also Wrestling News AV. The Wrestling News can also be found on the Arcadian Vanguard YouTube page. And for those who utilize Amazon Echo devices, just tell Alexa to play the Wrestling News podcast. And remember to make sure you add podcast at the end. Once again, for daily updates, breaking news, and more, follow the Wrestling News across social media. And that's the news for today. If anything happens, we will be here to tell you about it. No clickbait, no paywall, just the Wrestling News. The Wrestling News is a division of Arcadian Vanguard, and the Wrestling Newscast is a production of the Arcadian Vanguard Podcast Network.